I was like, I beg you do it. Talk is on a brand new season. Plus I hurt my foot on stage, I couldn't make it to the freezer. Not only that, you know that I rap. I pay for this flat, or give me a snack. She give me a slap, said don't be a twat. We giggle and that, I stay where I'm sat. She get up and does it like, is this what love is? I know that I'm rubbish, I seek for the love it. She bring me a pasta every on I'm dragging. I stick on Joe Rogan, you won't find me clubbing. Cause I'm at the summit, I did it, I done it. You niggas can suck it, you jealous, I run it. I come with your drummers and do something tuggish. I run in and cussing, cut it and on nothing. My flavors are lushing, my neighbors are rushing. The guy them are blushing, my trainers are cussing. You wanna talk puffin', you know I'm a glutton. I ordered the beef and it's headed discussions. Clinical with it, I scribble the lyric, I dribble, I spit it, I bill it and lit it. This fire, you feel it, I feel it. I feel to be liable to kill it. I'm raw and I'm ruckus, I run up and buck, I'm a cup when I truck cause it's high when you swing it. A samurai sword and a star, I'm a flinger. I mean, I'm in it, I'm cold with it, innit? Hold my weed, control my breathing. I just roll one up this evening. It's a pack of Mac, I'm gas. I'll pack a bat and get to leaning. It's a fact, a junkie fact.
Welcome, everyone, to the NBA on 2K Sports. With Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg, this is Kevin Harlan. Doris Burke will be along, too, from the sideline. And now a quick check of our starting lineups for both teams. First, for the Nuggets, then it's Porter, and it's Millsap in at the 4 slot. And for San Antonio, and they've got LaMarcus Aldridge, the former number 2 pick out of Texas, standing tall in the middle at 6'11". Then it's DeRozan, and it's Johnson in at the 4-man position. On the wing, Johnson. Porter with the steal, and it's going to be out of bounds. The Spurs will take it. On defense, Denver. And here's Walker outside. And it's blocked by Porter. Dishes to Millsap. Latrey. The rebound by the Spurs.
Some thought the Nuggets might be a dark horse team to get to the Western Conference Finals last season, but they didn't even get out of the first round. They lost to the Warriors, a very good Warriors team in 6 games.
A good way to get things started here.
Steve, always nice to get the first points up on the board. At least I felt that way.
Here's Porter out to Harris. Offensive rebound. Jokic. And the shot counts. He's fouled, and it's a chance for a 3-point play.
They have got to put a body on it, because otherwise, with his agility and athleticism, they're not going to be able to contain him on the offensive glass.
And going back to that series, Clark, I think it was easily one of the most exciting series of the first round, but the Nuggets knew they would have an uphill battle when they dropped game 2 and all. You know, Steve, they looked like they missed Gallinari in some of those games, obviously.
Well, I think anytime you're down a 3-point shooter, it makes it very difficult, particularly in the playoffs when teams can sit back and pack the paint. So I thought that was what that series showed, is that in the postseason, the best 3-point shooting team often has a big advantage, and the Warriors clearly were much better from beyond the arc.
Here's Aldridge after the made shot from Harris. Aldridge a screen. Here's Murray, and fouled hard that time. He'll get to the line and shoot 2.
And what an amazing run it was for the Spurs last year in the postseason. You know, swept the Lakers, survived Golden State, and then dismantled Memphis on their way to the NBA Finals. And then, of course, were seconds away from another championship banner.
Well, getting back to the Spurs, they look better and better as they went deeper into the playoffs, Clark. Heat were thought to be the heavy favorites at the start of the NBA postseason. But when they met in the finals, thoughts on who would win, I think, were pretty much split.
Yeah, and eventually, you know, this was one heck of a series because the Spurs not only had experience and talent, but they had multiple options offensively and did such a terrific job sharing the ball. They took the Miami Heat to the limit, but at the end of the day, it came down to LeBron James and Dwayne Wade rising to the challenge. You know, he may lack grace, but his length makes up for it. He can still throw it down there.
Well, you don't have to be a fantastic leaper when you're his size.
Well, it's too bad because with a little more athleticism, can you imagine how dangerous he'd be underneath the boards?
Here is Harris following the bucket by the Spurs. And Aldridge with the block. And it's out of bounds to the Nuggets as Denver retains possession. Here's Murray. Here's Millsap. They had a number of cracks in it, but came away empty-handed. Walker the pass to Murray. Leads him in there. Oh, took the contact and tried to throw it down over the top, but instead he'll shoot free throws.
You know, this is a trend that's catching on more and more in the NBA, and now DeMar DeRozan can be added to the list. He dips his hands in wax prior to the game, so he has a soft feel of the ball. The paraffin wax, we call it.
And for DeRozan, Coach Casey wants him aggressive, attacking the basket. He needs that soft touch.
Well, DeRozan, yeah, he has to become a better shooter. And as he does, it will make him that much more effective when he's putting the ball on the floor and getting to the rim, which he's already so good at.
You know, a big reason that the Nuggets were able to finish with the third best record in the West last season was they took care of business in the Western Conference. I mean, they went in every game against a conference opponent knowing what was on the line and handled business from there. You know, they've scored several times already here in the first quarter down low. I like that.
Yeah, me too, Clark. I think anytime you have success pounding the ball inside, you got to continue to go to the well.
Johnson kicks to Walker. Free throw line jump shot. No good. And Denver the other way now. The record for the Nuggets against the West ended at 38-14. Just one off the mark of the Thunder. Steve, for the best record within the conference.
Seemed like every time there was grounded games, Kevin, in the playoff race, the Nuggets came through. You know, teams in the West like to run a little bit, but I don't think anybody could really run with Denver. That's how they were able to both win at home and win in the conference.
Here's Murray. Knocked away. Millsap passes to Murray. The dish to Porter. Pass to Murray. Harris outside. Shot clock at 6. Smooth as silk on the finger roll. And it's all knotted up.
Coach Popovich was fined last season for sitting out his top players in a nationally televised matchup against the Heat. I certainly understand the league's posture there, and it was a lot said about it. Yet, for a veteran team like the Spurs with championship aspirations, I understand resting key players during the course of the regular season.
And I think Doris Burke has something for us right now. Doris?
Well, Kevin, Greg Popovich had a few moments to share with me. Their number one priority is not to give up any looks on the inside, anything easy in the interior, guys. He told me, quote, "We want to have the key look like a fancy club out there. Crowded, not a lot of room, and very hard to get into." Sounds like your kind of place, Kevin.
Thank you, Doris. And back to that fine for Popovich, $250,000. Steve, that'll leave a dent.
Yeah, no doubt. But, you know, Popovich enjoys tweaking the league at times. This was clearly an effort to do that. But, look, I think it's good for him to actually, you know, kind of let the league know every once in a while that if you're going to give us that kind of schedule with my older team, I'm going to sit them down once in a while.
D there, guys, was pretty much non-existent. I mean, you can't leave a good shooter like that open.
Kicks it to Millsap. He dishes it to Porter. The Nuggets moving the ball around. Three-pointer. Walker with the rebound. San Antonio leading by 4. Johnson attacking. The 3. And again, it's San Antonio with a 3.
He has really put his foot on the pedal this quarter, doing a tremendous job leading their offense.
Here's Murray. He's covered by Murray. The pass to Porter. Backing him down. Passes it to Murray. And out of bounds as San Antonio gains possession.
Now, severe lack of awareness on his part. He had no idea he was near the out-of-bounds line.
Here are the Spurs with the ball. They're on a 15-6 run. Walker dishes to DeRozan. Back to Walker. He feeds it to DeRozan. And it's good. Through contact, hits the shot. He'll go to the free throw line.
They got themselves in front with some outstanding shooting right off the bat.
Yep, it's been a clinic with that end of the floor, no question.
Bill Barton, he's checked in for Porter. And a chance for just a second to check out the scoring breakdown for San Antonio.
Well, I'll tell you what, they must have had a good shoot-around because they've been fantastic from long range so far, fellas.
And the other thing they're doing is forcing a lot of turnovers, and that's helping them to get easy points at the other end.
And yes, sir, that one drops.
Defensively, this team is just giving up way too many open looks.
You're exactly right, and to battle back, they've got to shore that defense up, Steve.
And Denver's out to take their first time out here.
The Spurs have always been very mindful of resting key players during the regular season. Some of it has to do with the age of their players. Some of it is regarding talent because they knew they were a playoff team most years. And you look at the research, there is something to be said for not playing guys when they're fatigued because injuries are more likely if you play tired.
So San Antonio goes with a fresh 5 on the floor. Here's Barton. He's covered by Gay.
Grown man's power flush with the long hang on the rim at the end of it.
Clark, that could be a catalyst for him.
I think you're right.
Well, we've seen these kind of plays get them going in the past, that's for sure.
Here's Mills. He's covered by Murray. The feed now to Mills. And out of bounds as the Nuggets gain possession. The Nuggets trail by 9. And Patrick Mills gets that whistle that time. That's his first foul. Here's Barton, and it's blocked. Mills with it. Six to shoot.
And that's 2 fouls for him very early in this ball game. He'll probably have to spend some time on the bench before halftime.
For San Antonio, they've gone 4 for 5 from the charity stripe in this one up to now.
And this was an excellent free throw shooting team a year ago, guys. About 81% as a team.
You know, something you can point to when you're talking about their areas of success last season, free throw shooting.
So he hits 1 of 2 from the stripe. The Nuggets trail by 10. Here's Murray. And count it. 2 points with a chance for one more at the free throw line.
The soft finger roll is just one of the many finishing moves he has in his bag of shot making.
Green, he's checked in for Denver. And back to the Spurs and their strategy of resting their star players, not without some controversy. The NBA, as you may recall, fined the Spurs and Coach Popovich for sitting all their starting players for a nationally televised game back in November.
Well, it was their 4th game in 5 nights, and Pop wanted to rest some of their guys because of just the nature of their schedule. But I think the problem was he didn't give the league advance warning. And that game against Miami, when he rested those 3 players, he actually sent them home. And I think that was a little shot at the league. And that's why there was a problem, and that's why the Spurs and Popovich ended up getting fined.
San Antonio with the ball after the Nuggets pick up 2. And he gets it to go as they call the foul. He's on his way to the line for one more.
They haven't been able to stifle him defensively here.
No, their offense continues to click.
You know, you might have expected a team that finished 3rd in the West to have a positive road record, but the Nuggets last season actually finished south of 500 when they left the Pepsi Center.
That's good from Gay. Well, Clark, as you said, with the Nuggets on the road, 19-23 record for them on the road. Was the difference between them and the Thunder, Steve, in that division?
Well, they were so dominant at home, Kevin, and they always have been, just with their style of play and the altitude. But it's just tough to go out and play that same style on the road where you're running constantly. You're just more vulnerable defensively when you play that style when you're out on the road than you do when you play it at home.
They built a big lead here early, both defensively and offensively. They've been terrific right from the tip.
Pass to Green. Green gets a screen from Murray. Harris outside. Pass to Murray. This one for 3. The shot, no good. Spurs leading by 14. Number 41. Another one falls for San Antonio.
I couldn't have dreamt of a much better start than what they've had here today.
Everything's worked, especially offensively, and what a lead they have already to show for it.
Here's Murray. So the whistle blows on the shot and 2 free throws for the contact right there.
The Spurs would end up as the second seed in the West and were right in the hunt for being the top seed for the majority of last season, but one reason they fell short was that they just weren't as good as they needed to be during in-conference games.
Going back to the Spurs, they did well against the West, but Steve didn't come close to matching the win totals of every other top team in the West.
Yeah, they would end the season with a 33-19 conference record, which, is pretty good, but still only 5th best in the West. It shows you how strong the Western Conference was a year ago, particularly at the top.
The Nuggets trail by 16. Time call here. The Nuggets decide to talk it over.
Well, I think this is one of the more amazing stats in sports when you think about it. No matter the season or the roster, the Spurs just seem to find ways to win 50 games. They've done it 14 straight seasons now, which is off the charts.
There's the pass to ball. That's tipped. Here's Mills, defended by Morris. Out of bounds, Denver takes possession. And Clark, as you said, the Spurs last season hitting 50 wins for the 14th consecutive season. By the way, that's an NBA record. Second closest were the Lakers with 12 straight, Steve, from 79 to 91.
Yeah, 58 wins last season for San Antonio. Greg Popovich calls it corporate knowledge, just the consistency that comes with the experience of the group. And they've been together so long, particularly that core, that I think it allows the Spurs to really kind of cruise at times during the regular season.
It's pretty hard not to ask the question after the Nuggets were bounced in the first round of the playoffs if, in fact, they were better constructed for the regular season than the playoffs.
Walker's checked in for Patrick Mills. Walker uses the glass to finish the layup. Walker's got 5. The Nuggets trail by 17. Continuing to talk about the Nuggets, it is a fair question to ask because this group, Steve, has been so successful in the regular season, but has yet to make a big splash in the postseason.
Yeah, I think they've advanced out of the first round one time in the last 9 seasons. So, I think it's a fair question, Kevin. I think you can win playing fast, but you have to have balance. Look at the Spurs last year. They played a very high tempo, but they played excellent defense as well. You've got to have some kind of a balance to win in the postseason.
Now, here's Walker. He has 5. From downtown, and again, it's San Antonio with a 3.
Clark, they're really struggling guarding that three-point line.
And they're not making up for it with their own shots from deep either, Steve.
Knocked loose. Here's the break. Oh, and there's the alley-oop. Here's Morris. Pass the ball. And it's out of bounds. The Nuggets able to retain possession here.